Okay, so today I am going to be showing how I do my daily end and sell similar routine and what I do and how I do it. So first up, I've gone to my active listings. So that's the first thing. You need to go to your active listings and you need to go over here to where it says, so scroll across to where it says time left and make sure you're on. It's showing the things that have got the least amount of time left before they are going to renew or relist themselves on eBay, because that'll give you your oldest listings. All right, the next thing I will usually do, just very quickly, in case the day before I forgot to delete
Okay. To get to 29 today.
the ones I did the day before, I just click on ended and make sure. At the moment I should only have 7 ended items that I need to keep in there for one reason or another. So that's correct. So I go to there. Back to active listings.
Yeah, it's paused again.
Oh.
For you.
Oh, hang on, no.
Application, sit tight. Because I've only ended and sold similar about 3 times ever.
Yep.
It's something I've got to get in the habit of doing, I think.
Yep. So the next thing I do is I open up a second window for it. Another active window. Is that swapping screens? Let me just check.
Yeah, I'm looking at your new window, yes.
Yep, no, that's good, yep. And what I do then is I go to, because any of the listings that I've got offers out on, I don't want to end those in case someone accepts the offer I've sent.
Yep.
So you can go in here. They've changed all this with these filters. So you can go to offers and go to offers sent and see results. And that'll show you the actual offers that you've sent out, so that you can see which ones are still active. So I go down. The other thing is I don't end and sell similar my variation listings, of course. So I just scroll down past those, and normally I would just go like this, and I've got it set on 50 a page. But because most of these are going to be variation listings, I don't do it that way. I just select them. So there's a pair of jeans there that can be end and sold similar. And as you can see, variation, variation, variation. So the first one I'm looking for in my active listings is this vintage tea towel. So when I hit that, I know that I'll be in there. So all of it, there's the tea towel there. And then the next one I want to watch out for is that Cara Rossi blouse. So other than that, if they're not, yeah, ask away.
Oh, are these your latest or your oldest listings?
So these are my oldest listings. Right. So all I'm doing is selecting as many as I can off this first page that aren't either variation listings or ones I've sent offers out on. So I'm nearly at the bottom of the page. Yep. Pardon me. So that has selected me 27. So all I do then is I end those. And look, sometimes if I'm doing it fast and I'm busy, I will just tend to scroll down because it doesn't take a minute before I do press the end button, just in case I accidentally missed a variation listing, because they're a nightmare if you happen to do those. So I'm going to end those 27. And then I'm going to go down the bottom of the page again. Scroll past all those. There's the tea towel again. And there's the next book.
So you ended them on the original page or on the first, on the
No,
active
on
list?
the original page, yeah. So now I'm doing the process again because that was only 27. So I do the process again, but I found you can set it so you can do 200 at a time, right? But I found that was where I started to make mistakes by missing something that was out on offer or missing a variation listing. Whereas if I only do 50 at a time and choose the ones I can do out of that, then it seems to... It only takes a few extra minutes to do it that way, and it works better for me. So there's...
Well, I was thinking I might just do 10. Is that...
Well, however many you choose to do is better than not doing any. So...
yes, that's right.
I quite agree, but yeah. So then I'll just keep going down past some more variations. Click these. So I'm just selecting anything that either isn't a variation or an offer sent out. I've just got to watch out for that top. And what I do with the ones that are on offer, when I look at them, like I know what that top looks like, and it's Cara Rossi, but I also take note of what date it started. So then, as I'm going down here, I know when I hit the 20th, and this one started at 3:49 p.m. So I know when I get to that time frame, because these are all in time order, of course, then I can be a bit more careful and to make sure that I don't miss it. Another variation that I'll skip. Another variation to skip. So this time there'll be a lot less to choose. So 22 this time. So I end those as well. And today I will do one more.
One.
So selecting more. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting as many as you like. So if it is 10 or it's 15 or it's 20, it doesn't matter. You just got to however many you choose. But yeah, I mean 10's a good amount probably to start with, to get a handle on it. Right. So there.
I guess the ones that come up first for me are my original listings.
Yep.
And their photos need doing. All that sort of stuff needs doing, which is what's sort of delaying me a bit.
Yeah. Well, I'll show you what I do to get around some of those issues, because I want to be able to do this part. I want to be able to do this part relatively quickly. So, I do a few tweaks so that I'm not having to go and retake photos. And I mean, if they're really bad, I will probably leave that listing ended so that I will go and do it. But anyway, so I'll do these ones. Yeah, and right, so that will give me more than enough. And the thing, if you're gonna then use some of your old ones to do some scheduled listings, that's the only thing. If you were gonna say do 10, but you wanted to schedule 5, then you're only going to have 5 go live that day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking one of them I'll probably, because there's 3 bundles by the same author, I'll probably just put up a variation on that. Will be one of the first ones by end.
Yeah. So now I just go to my ended listings.
And then there's that idiot cook the paleo one. I'll probably end that and bin it.
Yeah. And then I just take off the first 7 because I know they're the ones I've got in there. So there is the Animal Morphs variation listing that I did accidentally end when I shouldn't have. And I know that some of them are sold. So if you sell similar, everything resets. So I need to go and manually look at what I've got. And a couple of these are ones that I've got. So I got 2 extra of these Wise Owl books last time I was in Oyen, so I'm going to add them to that lot. And yeah, I'm not sure whether I might add them to another variation or not. But anyway, take them off. So then I've got what I've got left are the ones that I'm going to end and sell similar. So I just go sell similar. And that gives me 71 today. Right. And the first thing I do is I select all, go to bulk edit, and I change the price. So I go to buy it now price, and you can lower by, increase by, change to a certain amount, or remove, but that's only for auctions. And you can choose how you want to do it. At the moment, I am increasing my price, and you can click on increase, and then you can change this to either a dollar amount or a percentage. I always increase by a percentage, so I just go percentage, and at the moment, I'm increasing everything by 1%. And it just makes the listing different to what it was before. And yeah, so I sort of go up and sometimes I'll go probably spend 3 weeks where I'll be going minus 1%, and then I'll go a month where I go plus 1%. Just depends. So, having done that, then what I do is I sort these by the price, because not only do I want to put my oldest listings into the schedule listings that I do, but I also want to put the cheapest things in there. So the more valuable items are the ones that are missed a step, so can that one. First thing I do is I go by item category, and that's where I start looking at what needs to be edited. And I'll generally just go down, I'll just go in to each of the first, anywhere from 10 to 20, depending on, whether they look like they need fixing or not. So here, there's photos you can fix. Now, that main photo is sort of a zoomed in photo. I don't think that's great. I'm going to swap those over. So that's a different look for the first photo. I think there's a, see, look at that. Half a bracket in there that shouldn't be in there. But other than that, I think that should be okay for the thing. And this is this is one that I've had up for ages. So as you can see, book series, I've got X in there, which shouldn't be in there. So I'm going to take that out, and I'll do things like that and things like this. So where it's got personalised and signed, I used to tick all these. I don't anymore. I found out you're better off not doing them at all. So if there are no, don't do
I
them.
think I always go through and untick them all.
And then any of the ones, I can't show you on that now. If there's any of the
So,
filters have got a little rubbish bin sitting next to them, it means that particular item specific, they don't use that anymore. So I just take that away.
sorry, Gigi, that personalised thing, was there a particular reason why? Is it just a time thing? Is that why you're not ticking it?
Because I use it, think of it this way. If you happen to, hello, Bax, by the way. If you
Oh, hello.
happen to use the AI to do your description, instead of ignoring the ones that you've said no to, it will say things like, this item is not personalised or signed.
Right.
Well, you actually
Gotcha.
don't want that in your description. It also says to me that the the platform in itself is taking notice of those when you say no. Whereas if it's yes, I do it. If it's no, I don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Better off.
I don't use the AI for the descriptions of any of my items just because I find that the most important information that I do enter, people don't read it, and it's just creating a bit more fluff.
Oh yeah, for
I've said
sure.
that in the past.
Agree.
But I mean, in certain circumstances where you're selling vintage books and things like that, then that sort of AI thing might be a bit more important.
Yeah, well, I use ChatGPT to do mine, but
Mm.
I guess the thing is, it creates attention towards those particular specifics as opposed to the ones that are important. So that's
Yeah,
part
fair
of it.
enough.
And it's extra work. It's unnecessary work that you're filling it out when you don't need to.
No, definitely. No, I agree.
So then I just check my item description. Now I have completely changed what I put in my bottom part. So I always, on most of these I have to change, and I've got the new ones set in a custom template. So I'll just go shipping down and I'll change that. And that's good because it also changes what's in the item description thing. Yeah, so then I just kept going down. I've changed the price. I don't know were you in there when there's a few people. Hello, Bronwyn. Also, one of the first things I do is I do a bulk edit of the prices too. So, and you can change your postal policies if you need to, and that in there as well. So just scroll down and go done. And we'll find some of my really bad listings soon, probably. And it all depends on how much time I've got. I'll generally do at least 5, but, if I've got a bit of time, I'll sit there and I'll do 20 or 30. Now, I won't do it on this one, but what I've been doing is any of the older photos, say, that really need new photos taken because they're taken on my older background and they're not great, I actually will go in and I will use the background removal tool to remove the background, because the way they've got that set up now, it actually works quite well, the one in eBay. The other thing I always make sure is how well it's cropped in. So if it's not on some of them, like I was a bit further out and they need cropping in, that one's not too bad, so I'll leave that one as it is. And if it's really crooked, you can go in and change how crooked it looks too. And then I just have a look. This one's not too bad. So what I've been doing with books too is, because I used to do 1988 first edition hardcover with dust jacket, and so then there was no room left to put in any keywords. Now I'll just do what I can to make that as quick as, change this from hardcover, to HC. HC. And that one does have a dust jacket. And then I think this one's about death, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of like him getting sober. His struggle with alcoholism. So I'll put in here. I might have to take the dust jacket bit out because it won't fit. I'm going to put teen drinking. Oops. It's reacting slowly because I'm streaming it. Teen drinking. And then I'll just scroll through the all these bits and pieces. I have selected, obviously, put in there boys' interest, girls' interest, books, alcohol, alcoholism in there. Depending on what it is, sometimes, particularly if it's a good kids' book, I might add in homeschooling. This is always a good one. Fiction, yes. And so this is where I get to here. I just untick all these. Because part of the reason I am doing that too is so that this listing is different to how it was before I ended it. Because if you end and sell similar and it's exactly the same, you don't get as much oomph out of it. Whereas if you make changes to it, the algorithm thinks it really is truly a new one. And whether that's changing the photo a little bit or the title or some of the item specifics, it does help to give it a bit more growth. Then I just check all this is good. And so this is where this needs changing again. So that's all good there. All right. What have we got this time? And I used to use, when I first started doing it too, put bright coloured backgrounds on the item description, which, it looked really pretty, but the algorithm doesn't like it. And most of those books, I generally find when I do revise them, like they've had no views, no watches. And Google didn't like it either. It probably didn't use the greatest colours, but
What was that book?
This is... Oh, come on. The slot changed. This is The Rattle Rat by Jan Willem van der Wettering. It's German. Well, it's not German, but it was. I don't think there is a German.
Is that one of the sci-fi?
No, it's a crime one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was first published in Dutch, and this is the English translation. So it was first published in Dutch. Yeah, it's a mystery crime thriller. And it's from a series called that, however you pronounce it in Dutch. So, and I look, generally when I'm doing this too, the other thing I'll do is I used to put foxing in there. I take that out now, and I just have with wear and discoloration as shown rather than using the word foxing, because a lot of buyers don't know what that means. So I don't put that in there. Change this again. And I used to put in a minimum offer where I'd accept it, so it would buy buyers had to send me an offer of at least that amount or the offer wouldn't go through. But apparently, I don't know how true it is, but supposedly that's one of the things that slows. The algorithm doesn't like it, so I've turned that off now for most things. I tend not to get too rolled up. I have the occasional time when I'm not happy with the lowball offer, get cranky about it, but is what it is. Most of these won't be too bad because they're on the grey background. Already on that one. Hymn book. That's all good. This looks dreadful. Change that again. Wrong spelling. Oh, that should say... I know what's up there. Should say lettering, not parceling. Let's see if I can find some older ones. Yeah, here's one. No, that one's still on the carpet. The next one isn't, though. Oh. You got to do that. I do it backwards because if you unclick the signed one, it removes the box and it shifts everything up one. So you've either got to do it really quick before that moves. And it's caught me out a couple of times today. Alright, I'm going to delete that word foxing out of there. Oops. And out of there. And change the shipping. Down information. Less is more. Is my current mantra. And I make sure to move that up to the top line. Because I used to have all of my books, when I was doing them, I'd have Groggy's Patch Bookstore heading up the top. And, of course, that buggers up search stuff too. So I've taken that out, but sometimes there's still a blank line there. So I take that out where I can. Colleen McCulloch. Which is a shame. Her books look good, they just don't sell, I have to say. So this is one that's on one of my old backgrounds, which was when I was using the roller blind. And, you get all the shadows and stuff on it. So I'll just use the background removal tool. On that. So that's where I'm saying, Sandra, you could do that for yours that need new photos. Like, try doing things like that, or use their automatic brightening tool and stuff like that, just to make a little change to them so that you don't actually have to go and take new photos. And I only do that for the first photo. I don't go through and take the backgrounds out of all the others.
No, I do it quite often with other listings I'm just playing with. I sometimes go in and just look at my listings and play with them like that. But
Yeah.
uh,
And I don't, when I do my titles, so look, depending, I mean, here I could, because I've got 4 characters left, right? I could go in there and put by Colleen McCullough. But the search algorithm doesn't use things like the, a, to, by, like those sort of small little words. So I usually don't put them in. I missed one. And check the weight, 823. So here's one where there's got the little bin. So that means that that field is no longer used. So you can actually just click on that and it removes it. You can leave it there if you want to, but yeah, it's not much point. Put that up. And some books I don't have a blurb in there about what the book's about on some of the really old listings. I think I'm probably getting most of them, getting close to getting most of them done. Now this one, I probably need to go up because that's 823. If I had to send that overseas, it's going to go over a kilo. So I'll change that one. And if you're doing promotions on each listing rather than having policies, you could also put them up and down too when you were doing this. I'll do one more. So again, I'm going to edit that photo.
yeah, that one's dark.
It is, isn't it? I'd say that book's been listed for quite a while. Even taking that out makes it look better. I'll do the auto adjust and see what that does. Yeah. Alright. I'll do. Don't want to fiddle with them too much because, like...
That's so much better, though.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. No, I didn't need to crop it. Yeah. First Australian edition paperback. Oops. Check that. Change that. And so, this is one. So what I'll do is go into ChatGPT. Paste that in. Just put that in properly. Oops. For some reason, ChatGPT will not learn the rule of not using asterisks in the HTML code. And I have to remind it. So I've got my ChatGPT set up now that it's learnt what I want and how I want my blurb, which it gives me in HTML code, which I'll show you what I do with that in a minute. It also gives me the genres that I can put it in, and it also gives me some keywords that I can use. So I'll copy the book blurb and go back to the book. And what I do in here, so I go down a line, I type in blurb, and this is only to give me a reference point, so I'm not searching when I go into the HTML code. You don't have to do it this way. The reason I'm doing it in HTML code is that I can have certain words bolded within the blurb without actually having to go and do it later. So I get it to show me the HTML code, and then I've just got to find the word blurb and cut it out and paste in the blurb that I just got off ChatGPT and go back, and now I'll get rid of that. And now it's given me the book blurb, written just how I like it. Only takes a couple of minutes, or a minute, less than that. If you do it quickly, you get used to it.
You lost me at HTML.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can just do it, and
I don't use it.
no,
It's okay.
Well, I mean, as I said, I do it so that I don't have to go in and bold all this afterwards. It's just a time-saving thing for me because I know how to use it. But so I'm just showing you that that's what I do. So you can see that is what I do. And if I change this postage policy to under 500 gram own packaging for that one. All right. So, look, I'll have to do the next one because it is also an older one. Yes, it is an oldie, that one. The book and the listing.
Someone had 5 first edition, beautiful condition Wilbur Smith books on Facebook Marketplace this morning for 150. And I had a look at them, and they were BCA, which is what is it? The Book Club Association.
Yeah. Yep.
Thought, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were lovely books, but really, first editions?
Yep.
I don't think so.
No idea. So just doing on that was quite dark too. So using that auto adjust and the crop, and the background removal, that actually doesn't look too bad, really. So what do we got? Like a river of lines, da-da-da-da-da. See, here, this is what I used to do. So rare paperback, library 7th printing. Like, honestly, how's that going to help sell that book? It is rare. So I'm going to put, because in that condition, I probably wouldn't have tried selling it if it wasn't. And I'm going to have a look at what we've got here. Spanish Civil War. Oh, bugger it.
Pretty, it doesn't have Spanish floods. A bit more topical.
Hey?
Poor buggers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm missing by one. I'll put life. Get me out of trouble. I was going to say, I hope I've only got that as acceptable. Just as well I have. And then change this over. Change this to under 500 grams, because what I'm going to be doing, because the bubble mailers aren't going towards our banding
My
anymore.
post office still tells me that they do, and so
Yeah, but
what can you do?
even if they tell you that they do, are Australia Post actually adding them? Like, I'd be getting onto Australia Post and asking them, are those amounts getting added? Because if you're buying them from Australia Post, thinking that they're automatically getting added to your band, which was what I was doing, I was buying them from the local post office, scanning them all in, but then I wondered, well, why is my band not going up? Because I knew that I'd bought enough that my band, because I deliberately did it, I bought a big lot to get my band to go up, but it didn't. And that's when I rang Australia Post and got onto them. So I'm going to be putting in some generic bubble mailers. So I'm going to get smaller ones, smaller than the small size, like about a half that, so that I don't have to fold them over so far for these sort of,
I reckon folding over helps the books, though. Anyway, I'm quite.
well, because I put them in the cardboard sleeve, and that'll go straight into that. Yeah, so I'll post them as a own packaging under 500 grams, which will be the same price as a small. So
Yeah, I was on the Australia Post website today through my business, and because they've changed the layout of their website just recently, if you haven't been on there, and the survey thing popped up at the bottom, so I left them feedback about the whole, padded mailers don't contribute to band rating anymore, and that a lot of sellers online are now using alternative packaging. So I made the suggestion that maybe they should review that.
Yeah, good. I've probably done that 3 or 4 times. Every now and again, I'll see the survey pop up, and if I've got time, I'll do it because, I think they're going to lose out because a lot of us are doing that. That we're just going and buying their product, and now we're not.
Yeah, I agree. I've still got a lot of padded mailers left over from when I purchased last time, which it did contribute to the band rating back then. So I'm sort of not out of pocket. But next time when I do have to buy some more, I'll be looking for generic ones that I can use instead.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually, it's silly, but I hardly use any mediums. And I had bought 2 boxes of mediums, and so I had mediums and mediums and mediums coming out my ears. So in a sense, I've been doing that. I've been using that under 500 gram policy and putting those small books in a medium.
Why not?
I nearly have to fold them in half, but those are just going to sit there, and I may as well use them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I figure.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
That. Yeah. So then the next thing I do is I go to buy it now price, and I sort by buy it now price. And the reason I do that is because when I want to choose my 15 items that I'm going to schedule for my scheduled listings, I do that out of these old ones. But I only want to put the lower value books in, or the lower value items in those scheduled listings, so that my more expensive books aren't sitting there waiting to be, come live. So I sort by price. and then I'll just go down and select 15. And I used to go down and select like so many books, so many bits of clothing and whatnot, but now I just tend to go, as long as I've got some clothing in there and a bit of a mix, I'll just select that first 15. And then I just go to start time, and then I have to check what my previous schedules are up to. So my last one's the 21st. So now I'll go to schedule a start time and change that to the 22nd. And then I just chose a random time, so I have them, they go live at 2:02 a.m. And then we are all set.
So but that's only for 15 of those you did. So you'll do another 15 for the 24th. Or
Yeah, so today, because I'm only ending selling similar 71, so I'm only gonna do the one day. If I'm gonna do 2 days, I'll generally end and sell similar 100, 120, just so that
the others you put live, did you? Back in live?
yeah. So everything else is going to go live immediately, and that top 15, they will now go to the next scheduled day, and that creates my draft bank without me actually having to make new listings to put in a draft bank. So then it's just a matter of submitting. So they've all gone live, supposedly. Now, my check there is before I delete them, in case there's been an issue. I do go to scheduled, and I'll refresh that and make sure that there are another 15 scheduled listings in there, which there are. So I know there haven't been any issues. I'll then go back and untick the ones I need to keep in my ended lot, which is the first 7. And then delete them. And deleting them is important, because if you don't delete them, you may accidentally end and sell the same ones again the next day.
It happens when you get old, you forget things.
Ha ha ha. I've had people tell me that they don't delete until until they're ready to do their next lot. Oh, that's asking for trouble, I reckon.
Yeah.
So I just delete those out, and then I'm done, basically. But then I'll go back to my overview screen, and, well, not yet, because usually after a few minutes that'll pop up that I need to add more item specifics and stuff in there. And then the next thing I do is I go to my store, and I just do this every time, and I'll go manage my store, because this will show me if any of the things that I've ended and sold similar are ones that are in my featured items, and that way I can just change them over. But there aren't any.